Welcome to today's explainer. I am so incredibly excited to share this one with you. Have you ever been in a situation where you're just waiting and waiting for something to get better? Maybe it's been a really tough week, or things just aren't going your way, and honestly, everything just feels kind of wrong. You feel stuck. Well, today we're going to look at an ancient story that's going to give you a massive boost of hope. We're diving into the story of the prophet Habakkuk and exploring a very famous phrase, "The just shall live by faith." So let's dive right into this. What do you do when everything seems to go wrong? Look, it is so easy to feel anxious, to worry, or to just wonder if anyone is even paying attention to your struggles. And I want to validate those feelings right now. It is completely normal to feel that way. In fact, as we're going to discover in this explainer, some of the greatest heroes in history, people we read about in the Bible, felt the exact same way you do when things get hard. Section 1. When things feel dark. Let's travel back in time for a second to ancient Judah, during the rule of King Josiah. Now, even though he was a good king, things had been incredibly difficult for the nation leading up to his reign. Our source tells us that the true-hearted people in Judah, the faithful ones who really loved God, well, they were waiting. And while they were waiting, they were questioning. They looked at the difficult circumstances all around them and had some serious, anxious questions bubbling up inside. They started to wonder, are God's promises to ancient Israel actually going to be fulfilled? Like, has he forgotten us? They were dealing with some heavy worry, and honestly, the longer they waited, the harder it was to keep believing. Section 2. Meet the prophet Habakkuk. Now, Habakkuk was one of those faithful people living in Judah, but he did something really special. He was a prophet, a messenger for God, and he was brave enough to be totally honest about his worries. He didn't just hide his fears or pretend everything was perfectly fine. No, he actually spoke up and voiced these exact same deep worries out loud to God. Just listen to what he says here. "O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear?" I mean, you can almost hear the exhaustion in his voice, right? Habakkuk was deeply distressed. He was looking at the situation of the faithful people in his day, carrying this massive burden in his heart, and he was just flat out tired of waiting for help. He was crying out, essentially asking, how long do I have to ask for help before you actually do something? It's just a very real, very raw emotion. Section 3. The secret of faith. But then, after pouring out all of his frustration, something amazing happens. Habakkuk's attitude shifts entirely. He goes from being trapped in fear and anxious questioning to finding an incredibly powerful solution. His faith reaches out. He looks completely past the scary, forbidding prospect of the immediate future, and he boldly declares, "We shall not die." He stops focusing on the dark circumstances right in front of his nose, and instead he aggressively grabs hold of God's precious promises. With this one bold, trusting statement, he rested his entire case in the hands of a compassionate God. He decided to trust God's love, no matter what. So what does this actually mean? The just shall live by his faith. Well, think of faith exactly like holding a bright flashlight in a pitch-black room. The room might still be dark. The scary circumstances might still be right there. But that flashlight of faith keeps your hope and your courage alive, day by day. It's the decision to believe in God's promises, even when you can't see the finish line yet. So let's compare these two different reactions. On one side, we have anxious questioning. This is where we worry, panic, and focus only on the dark things happening around us. It drains our energy and leaves us feeling totally stuck. But on the other side is living by faith. This is where we trust God's promises and find our courage completely renewed. The source tells us that choosing this path of faith is what sustained God's people back then, and it's the exact same faith that sustains us right now, today. Section 4. Trusting the promise. You see, living by faith absolutely means trusting God's perfect timing, even when it feels like we've been waiting forever for things to get better. Take a look at this. You start at day 1, the hard time. Then you have weeks, maybe even months of just waiting. But faith means believing that God hasn't forgotten and that he is working things out behind the scenes. Because at the end, there is the appointed time, the moment of deliverance. It's exactly like planting a tiny seed in the dirt. You water it, you wait, and for days you see absolutely nothing but dirt. But eventually, at the exact right time, a green plant sprouts up. God has a specific appointed time for your deliverance too. Section 5. Living with hope today. So how do we take Habakkuk's ancient, powerful faith and use it in our own lives right now? I mean, you might not be dealing with ancient kings, but maybe you're dealing with a really tough test at school, a problem with a friend, or maybe you're just feeling a little scared about the future. The prophet encouraged his people with this amazing reminder. The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. What does that actually mean for you? It means you can be completely confident, completely peaceful, and totally quiet inside your heart. Why? Because God is still on his throne. He is still in charge today, just as much as he was back in Habakkuk's time. You don't have to panic because the universe is in very, very good hands. Let's turn this into some practical steps you can take today. I like to call this your faith superpower for whenever you feel impatient or scared. Step 1, talk to God. Be honest, just like Habakkuk. Tell him you're tired of waiting. It's okay. Step 2, remember his promises. Grab your flashlight. Remind yourself that God loves you and he will never abandon you. And step 3, wait with hope. Know for sure that the seed is growing underground, even if you can't see it quite yet. We're going to end our explainer today with this incredibly cheering message from the source text. The vision is yet for an appointed time. Wait for it, because it will surely come. Listen, whatever dark room you are in right now, whatever you are waiting for, hold on to your flashlight. The just shall live by faith. God's promises never, ever fail, and your deliverance will surely come. So my question for you to think about is, what is one promise you can choose to trust today while you wait? Thank you so much for joining me. Keep your courage up, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.